Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. I get asked a lot how to make your own SVG files using Inkscape. So we are going to learn how to make a Grinch. Look at that. So all we are going to do is we're going to take an image that I'm going to find off of Google and I'm going to create my own SVG file. This is going to be perfect for around Christmas time. We are coming up on all those holiday crafts that you're going to be working on, and instead of buying SVG files, we're going to create our own so we can have it forever. Creating your own SVG files is super simple. I use a free program called Inkscape. I love this program. Yes, it does take a bit of time to learn how to use the program, but once you learn it, it's super easy and super simple. That said, this tutorial is probably going to take about 20 minutes for me to show you because it's going to be in slow time, but I can tell you that when I took this picture, and this is my own SVG file that I had previously created for you, it took me all of 5 minutes. So it's super simple after you learn how to use the program. Okay, so let's get started. I am just going to drag this down. And then what you're going to want to do is open up a window of Safari or your internet browser. And at the very top, I always put whatever I'm looking for. So I was looking for Grinch. We're going to do a PNG. And then just press return or search. And then go over here into images. Everything up here is stuff that you can buy, which, I mean, if you wanted to buy it, you totally could. But I like to go down here, and these are all available images that we can trace and create our own SVG files from. So this is the one that I had created earlier, and this is the same one that we're going to create. So all you're going to do is right click that and press open image in new tab. A new one's going to pop up. And then all I like to do is on my trackpad on my laptop, I like to zoom in, which is doing this on your trackpad. And I like to go as close as possible to the image that I want, just so I can get a cleaner screenshot. Then all you want to do is take a screenshot of this. On the Mac, it is Command-Shift-4. This little dot aimbot thing pops up, and we're just going to make a box around it. Make sure that nothing in the actual photo that you want to work on is cut off here. Let go. It's going to be right there. You're just going to open up a blank window of Inkscape. Mine's not blank because I already have the one I created. We're going to drag your screenshot into Inkscape. All this box is going to pop up. I have no idea what this box is. I've never used this box. Just press OK. That's all I know how to do for that. So here is the image that we screenshot. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, now that you have that in here, all you want to do is right click and then press trace bitmap. This is going to pop up. So generally when you open up this box, if it's a brand new window, this is going to be your default number right here, 0.450. And it's already going to look like that. So you can tell for this particular trace, if you're looking at the original image versus this trace, you see how the darkness of the red is all black. What we're looking for is an outline. We're trying to create an outline here. So generally, if you wanted to fill in everything, you would use this plus arrow and press update, and then other things will start to fill in. But because things are already filled in like this right here, I want to go the other way. I want to go down. So just using the minus key, and every single time I move the numbers, I'm going to come down here and press update. And you can tell how the eyes are no longer shaded in, and but there we go. So at 0.310 is when the red was no longer filled in. Let's go to 0.32. Oh, and see how the red is now this weird hazy color? You don't want that. So we're going to go down, press update again. Okay, that's it. So now that we have just an outline of what our image is going to end up looking like, this is kind of what we want, right? Press OK. It looks like nothing happened. I assure you something did. And then just press this X button at the very top. And then see how this small little box is smaller than our original screenshot? That's because something did happen. All we're going to do is click our new image and slide it over. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so we have a little bit more working room on our project mat. Pressing Control on your keyboard and this arrow, and it is going to shrink it all together at the same side. It's not going to distort the image. Then I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. I always like to keep my original image on the project board so I can match up what it is that I'm wanting my finished product to look like. Okay, there is our trace. And then I always like to duplicate. So Command D or duplicate on your keyboard. And then I'm going to drag down the duplicate and I'm just going to put it down here. Generally, I don't use it, but just in case I don't want to have to start all over from the very beginning, I just kind of work in steps and I always keep step 1 to the side. Okay, so we have this one. Then all you're gonna wanna do, because we need all these little pieces, right? And we have just an outline. So we're gonna do a Command-Shift-K, which is compound and release. That's releasing all these small little pieces. Every single time you do this, for whatever reason, the biggest portion of your trace always is the top portion. So if I click this, it's going to be the full black back piece that you want. Holy cow with the mouthful. So click on the very top and I am going to just send this to the back, which is up here. And I'm going to change this to a lighter gray color just for right now. We're going to change it back to black, but just for right now, because now you can see all these pieces, right? Just to do a lighter color. There we go. So then I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to just zoom in, which is zooming in like this in the trackpad. And I'm going to start clicking like this is going to be red. So I click the right here. See how that is supposed to be the red, and then I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to click red. And then these ones right here are supposed to be white. This is white. That is going to be nothing. We're going to cut that out here in a second. So just do that and then do white. Okay. And then all of these Grinch hand pieces, we can select all of them and we can change them to a green. Whoa. There we go. And then this Grinch hand piece, we can change to green as well. This one right here is going to be green. And all I'm doing is matching up from the left and the right. So this face, the face is going to be green. And then we're missing the mouth. Oh, let's send that to the back. Send it to the back. There is our face piece. Okay, so we're going to take this gray piece that is eventually going to be black. We're going to take that and we're going to send that to the back. There we go. Okay, so then these two eye pieces are going to be yellow. The inside portions, oh, we need to send these to the back just a little bit. There we go. Now we can select that. We're going to change those over into red just to match up over here. This is going to be white. This is going to be red. And this is going to be white. Now you can see that we have a couple pieces that are still black. This is black, this, and this small little thing right here. If we go back over into our original, these are actually supposed to be cutout holes, right? So in order to make the cutout holes, we need to click that black, press shift on your keyboard, kind of zoom in, and we want to just select the gray piece, the outside gray piece. And then you want to do Command Shift and the minus key. And that you just sliced your black piece into your gray piece. Going over to the other side, clicking the black piece, shift, and then clicking your gray and doing the same thing, Command Shift minus key. There we go. Then you have this small little black piece that's right here. Let's take that black piece, shift, take the gray and do Command Shift minus. Then we need to go up to the very top where this black piece is right there. And then we're going to do the same thing. Shift and click the gray, Command Shift minus key. There we go. Okay. Now, if we're looking at the face right here, see how the face is going to be it's going to be a now an additional piece. Clicking the black piece and then your green face. So then shift and click the green face and Command Shift minus key. Then we want this little black piece that also needs to get cut into the green. Doing the same thing, shift and click the green. Command Shift minus key. And you know, this is like gonna be really small. I don't even want that, so I'm gonna delete that. And then zooming back out, this green nose needs to be green. And then there's like some small little black pieces that are up here. I'm just gonna select that small one and delete it. And then this one, I'm actually going to connect it into the green of the other. So I am just going to drag it over to where it touches. And then this one, we're going to go over here in the nodes, and I'm just going to make this match up with the green. Selecting both of those nodes, we're going to drag this over. It's going to look weird right now, but trust me. Then we're going to only select one. Okay, zoom out using that arrow key. We're going to unclick it. It's a little bit misshapen. So then we're going to go back in here in our nodes, and we're just going to reshape this a little bit to where it's a little bit more even. There we go. Okay, zoom out, and we're going to select both those black pieces, Command Shift plus sign, which is welding. You're going to weld them together. And then we're gonna have that black piece, and then we're gonna click that green, and we're gonna press Command-Shift+key again. That is gonna weld all that green together. We're gonna go back down to the hand and do the same thing. As I was zooming out, I noticed that there is a little bit of black here too. Just select that, just dragging it over, and we're just gonna delete those pieces. If you wanted to do the same thing that we had originally did up here and rearrange them and move the nodes around so they touch and then you can weld them, you could totally do that. And this is actually a very rough scan. You can tell how it's all jiggly. Is that what you call that? Jiggly? We'll fix that in a little bit. Okay, going over here and see how this hand is going to be all these separate pieces. That would be a pain to cut later. So we are going to just rearrange these nodes just like we did before. I'm going to click 3 of those and just drag it up. This right here is a full finger. It's supposed to go like this. Dragged it around. So I am just going to click all those nodes, and I'm going to drag this to this finger, clicking this one. I'm going to drag these nodes over into this, and then drag this, clicking these nodes, and I'm just going to connect it into the hand. And then if you wanted to, you can come in here and delete some nodes and change the way the hand looks just a little bit. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different because we connected it into the hand, but this just looks like a free-flowing thing. So all I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to put it like into the back side of this. So clicking this, I'm going to take some nodes, drag it over here, kind of matched up. I'm going to unclick and I'm just going to take this node right here. There we go. Just making it the finger look a little bit better. Okay, zooming out before you weld anything, just zoom out. And if you like the way this looks, then we can weld them together. If not, then you're going to zoom back in and you are going to just readjust the nodes just a little bit. We're just pressing Shift and we're finding all the small little pieces, welding them all together, and then taking our big green hand and weld that together. So now this is all one piece. Oops, and we forgot one that's up here. So Command Z and press Shift, click that green thing, and there we go. Weld it together. You got your finished product for that one hand. Coming over here, doing the same thing. This green piece isn't connected, so we're gonna just edit some nodes, click that one. I'm going to drag my cursor over and just hook it into that green. Come up here to the arrow tool and zoom in. See how there's like there's a hip. So going back over, I'm just going to adjust these to where it's not touching or not doing that little hip. Okay. Then once you have what you think we'll adjust that node here in a second. Now they're touching. So we're going to take the piece that we were just adjusting and that green. So Shift and press that green and Command-Shift+key. We're welding it together. Okay, if we zoom in, there is still that little hip. So then if you wanted to go back over here into nodes, you can click on one of those nodes and delete it, and now that hip is gone. There we go. Okay, let's zoom out. I think we got most of pieces. I'm going to keep his nose and his neck not connected. I feel like if we do connect it, it'll try to change the way his face looks. All right, the next step. Remember when I had said this looks all jiggly down at the bottom? That means it was a pretty rough trace. If we left it this way, I mean, it would cut and it would probably look good from a distance, but it would take forever because there's so many nodes. Okay, I'm going to click this red and I'm going to do Command L, which is just simplify. It is taking all those nodes because there was quite a bit of them. If I go to Command Z, I'm just going to go back for a second and I'm going to click that red. If we go over here into the nodes, do you see how many nodes there are? That is too many. The more nodes, the worse your project will end up cutting, is how I would like to explain it. It makes the file a lot bigger, but it just doesn't cut as smooth. So when you go back over and do your arrow tool and you do Command L, you're simplifying it. And then if you go back over here into the nodes, do you see how many nodes we have now? We have quite a bunch less than what we had before. Now, if you wanted to, you can go back in here because it looks like we still have a bunch of nodes here in the bottom. And if I go into the arrow tool and I go out, you see how it's still not like a straight line. If you wanted to, you could take this, go back into the nodes, click the red, And I'm just going to select all of them, but the one that, like the one on either end, and delete them. And then all you can do is just straighten out this line with your mouse. I'm gonna go out of that and see how it's a nice straight line now. Perfect. Okay, come up in here. This red right here is very wonky. Command L, and now it's not as bad. Going over here into the nodes, and there isn't a lot of nodes, which is perfect. This one right here, if you go back over into the arrow, see how it's still very jagged? Going back over here into the nodes, and I'm just going to select some nodes. There we go. I'm going to select all of them and delete them. And see how now the line is nice and straight, which is exactly what we're wanting. I'm going to go back over here, and we're just going to delete some nodes. Okay, then go over here to the arrow tool. Once you have it the way you like it, then all you can do is just stop. This right here is still a little jagged right here. So I'm going to take these nodes and I'm going to delete them. And this is just eyeballing it. Because you're creating your own SVG file, it's always going to look different, right? Mine's not going to look like yours because maybe you're going to delete more nodes than me. Going over here into the Grinch's face, I like the trace of his face. However, the side portion right here seems to be a little jagged. So going over here into the nodes, and there's still quite a bit of nodes. Let's go up into the arrow tool and let's say Command L. It didn't change his face a whole lot, and now things are a lot smoother. Okay, doing the same thing with the eyes, Command L. And this is just eliminating nodes, just so they're going to be easier to cut and cleaner too. Let's do the white portions, Command L. You know, for the hat, I'm going to connect these two pieces. So I'm going to go into the nodes. I'm going to click this small one. I'm just going to drag this over to where they're touched, and I'm going to just move these lines. There we go. Doing the same thing we did before. Selecting this and that white, Command Shift plus sign, that welds them together. Now when I go to cut this later, this right here is going to be a connected piece. The less pieces, the better. Okay, did we get all the nodes? That has a lot. Here, the arrow, Command L, doing the same thing, Command L and Command L. Perfect. How about the hands? Still quite a bit of nodes in the hands, Command L. Let's see, his hand looks very weird. It's almost like there is a hump, and I think it should be straight. So let's change that. You see how this is like very bubbly, and then this one right here is like straight? I'm gonna change that over. So taking all my nodes, I'm going to delete these. I'm going to make this kind of a straight line. Ooh, I love the way this hand is going to end up looking. See how now it's like, that looks like his thumb. I like the way that looks. Okay, zooming out just a little bit. Did we do this? L? Nope, we didn't. So going back into the arrow tool and Command L. There we go. So now there's a lot less nodes. Less nodes, the better. Remember that. Okay, if we wanted to, you could be done. You could go over here into the gray portion and change this over into black. Make sure that like right here, these, make sure like with your reds, if you want it all to be red, select all your reds and make sure it's all the same color. Same thing with your greens and all your colors. Make sure they're same colors, just so when you upload this into your like Design Space or Silhouette, you'll have less colors to choose from. It'll make it a little bit more simplified. That said, because I changed the look of his hand and like the way that this looks, the outline ends up being a little weird in some areas. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this black that we've now changed. I'm going to drag it over here just in case I change my mind. So then selecting all of these, I'm going to Command D, which is duplicate. It'll look like nothing happened, but I assure you it did. And then doing Command Shift and 0, which is going to be an outline. And I'm just going to make this bigger. See how it's all getting all distorted? Change it over into black so you can see what you're doing. Send this to the back and see how now everything looks really even. And I like the width of this shadow. When you get the width that you want, do Command Shift and plus sign. And now you have a perfect, we can send this layer up to the front. Okay, and then send it to the back. You see how this is like one full layer? That's exactly what you wanted. However, I do see a little nodes in here. That's fine. All you need to do is come over here into your nodes and delete the small little areas. Go into your arrow tool and all the small little nodes are gone, and send it to the back again. And now this is what your finished SVG file is going to look like. And that's it. You've created your own SVG file. Now all you want to do to save this is you want to delete everything you don't want. So the original screenshot, that duplicate, this right here is what is going to be our finished SVG file. You can go up into File and Save As, and I'm going to do Grinch. I'm going to save it to my folder, press Save. Okay, to open up your SVG file in Cricut Design Space, all you want to do is open up a brand new window in Design Space. Go over here into Upload and press Upload Image. Then you want to either drag and drop your file, or I am going to press Browse. I'm going to find the file in my computer and press Open. There is the file where I'm just going to press Upload, select that, and then Add to Canvas. Okay, there it is, uploaded into Design Space. And then all you want to do is right click and press Ungroup. And then all these pieces are now in your Design Space. Love it. So then you can go ahead and cut this on your Cricut if you wanted to, or you could do this on a laser cut. You can use it as any SVG file that you want to use it on. All right, y'all, I sure hope I helped you out in your Inkscape journey, and I will see you later.